Hey gardeners, it is late May 2020 and I'm going to be doing an update video on bamboo. I have a variety of clumping bamboo growing in my yard. 7 varieties that I purchased are all clumping varieties. That's the only type of bamboo that I suggest you plant if you're going to plant bamboo. The others can be invasive, the running types. So why bamboo? Bamboo has a lot of benefits, but for me I had a lot of space to fill in. This is a half-acre lot. And I wanted to develop microclimates, shade for other plants. I wanted some windbreak, and I wanted a privacy screen. Bamboo does all that, plus certain varieties are actually edible, the shoots. It also provides a soundscape. Before getting into the varieties I've got and their characteristics, the common theme was I went with very tight clumping bamboo. So none of the specimens that I grow will exceed a 6-foot footprint. And the other thing to note is they're cold hardy for here. So every variety I talk about is going to be fine for 9A and above. A few of them are not going to be suitable for anything below zone 9. So in general, you know, these clumping varieties are for warmer climates. But I'll mention the cold hardiness as I go through this. On either side of me, I've got the old Hami, giant timber bamboo. And it's done what I wanted in that it's forming an arch over this pathway. So it really makes a nice statement in this yard. The old Hami variety can get anywhere between 40 and 60 feet tall. It's going to get larger in its native climate. In the desert climate, it's not going to be, you know, a 60-foot specimen. But one of the larger ones that you can plant. And the culm size, once this reaches maturity, 3 to 5 years in the ground, these will reach 4 inches. Now the spread on this is not going to exceed 6 feet. So if you want to use this as a privacy hedge, it's recommended to plant them 6 to 8 feet apart for a nice tight hedge. As you can see, this variety has nice straight poles on it. And this is an edible type of bamboo. Just walk around so you can see. Now this was planted in July 2017, so just under 3 years in the ground. And it's about 20 feet tall at this point. Nice habitat for the birds. They like building nests in here, especially the hummingbirds. So that's the old Hami variety. Now right adjacent I have the opposite. I have the smallest variety I'm growing, and this is an Alphonse Carr. It's in the multiplex family. This one is a little bit more cold tolerant, so down to 15 degrees. Culm size is only about 1.5 inches, and the max height's going to be 12 feet. Right now this is around 8 feet tall. And this one was also planted in July 2017. You can see the canes are striped. Yellow cane, green stripe. Spread on this is probably going to max out at 3 feet. You can see it's very tight, the habit. And I planted this, again, microclimate builder around my Royal Poinciana on either side. It helps keep the wind and the frost off. leaves are much smaller on this variety. Then we'll walk over to another variety I've got growing here. This one is the Bambusa mutabalis. It's also known as emerald bamboo. It can get to 35 feet tall. Culm size about 2 inches on this variety, and it's cold hardy to 18 degrees. And you can see it hasn't done a whole lot. I've only had it in the ground for about a year. So it's really just putting on growth right now, underground, the roots. This bamboo was just fed recently, so in summer, when it really puts on its growth, I should see some new canes emerge. And generally speaking, each year canes emerge, they're going to be double the size of the prior season's growth. This is actually another giant timber. I really like this variety, so I have several on my property. You can see this one's really grown in very nicely. You can see the shade this provides. Very much changed the microclimate for my fruit trees that are nearby. It gives them filtered afternoon light, which is really essential when we're in the triple digits in the summer. You can see what a lush tropical landscape clumping bamboo provides. Pretty amazing, you know, not even 3 years of growth, and what this has done for my yard. Okay, another variety to point out is the Asian lemon. Asian lemon's going to be about 25 feet max height. It's cold hardy down to 20 degrees. The cane maxes out about 1 inch in diameter. And this one will only take up about a 3-foot spread. Again, very tight clumper. And this one's very ornamental. So when you're down here, you can see a yellow cane and a thick green stripe. And it's about 10 feet tall at this point. So it's already put on quite a bit of size for how young it is. You can see this is providing shade to my variegated pink guava. So another one that I've had in the ground for about 2 years now is this silver stripe. And silver stripe is going to get about 25 feet tall. Culms on this will be about 1.5 inches. And this one is cold hardy to 18 degrees. And this one is unusual in that it can achieve some variegation both in the leaves and also on the culms. Mine has not developed the variegation at this point. But it's also a fairly young clump. You can see a new shoot coming in right there. And just the difference, you know, between last year's to this year's. So this one is Bambusa dolichomyrothala, or silver stripe. Has a nice structure to it. Another tight clumper. Section of my yard. This was all dead grass this time last year. So these are all brand new plantings. And what they've done is pretty amazing on growth. This in front is another giant timber, or old hamai bamboo plant I got from Tropical Bamboo Nursery. And I'll link where I bought these bamboo from. But this was a very small start, and you can see the new shoots that it's putting on are quite thick now. So right down there, putting on some nice new canes. The sea breeze. Or melangensis. Now, this is a really popular one in Florida because it's very wind and salt tolerant. Now this variety can get up to 30 feet tall, 2.5 inches on the culm size, and 18 degrees on cold hardiness. And on this one, about a 4-foot spread. You can see this has put on a lot of growth. New canes coming in, some of them in excess of 10 feet already. So this is pretty amazing growth for just a year. And I want to talk to you about how I planted these. So I did not plant these in straight clay soil. I actually planted them with almost a full bag of deodorized manure because these are very heavy feeders. So at the time I planted them, I also wanted to give them a kickstart with food. Also planted with half native clay soil, bermed up what I didn't use around the tree, and then filled in half cactus mix. That's just my typical planting method for the Phoenix, Arizona area. I find that it helps the drainage. If you're in another part of the country, that might not be the best planting method, but that's what I use to amend the soil. This is another sea breeze, and this one just went crazy with growth. And I think that's due to it getting a lot more water from the pond. So when I did the pond clean out, and when it's rained here and I needed to pump out excess water, I hit this berm, the berm of this tree, with that water. So that really seemed to accelerate growth on this one. As you can see, all of these are planted in full sun, so these are all varieties that'll do well in that kind of environment. There are certain varieties of bamboo that are not going to do well in full sun. Tropical Blue is one, but these do great in full sun. You can see that the canes have this whitish powder on them. We can even look a little bluish from that. And then just a note on watering. When I first put these in, it was summer, so I ended up basically watering it daily. Volume was the size of the container it came in, so these were all 3 gallons, so they got 3 gallons every day in the summer. And then spring and fall, I cut back to every few days, and that really helped establish the roots fast and promote drainage in the soil. Over here I've got another variety growing. This is the yin yang, or Bambusa eminensis. It's another one that hasn't put on a whole lot of growth thus far, But this was planted at the same time as the sea breeze and the old hominy that I just showed you. This yin yang is going to get about 35 feet tall, 2.5 inches on the culm, and I've got this planted in a warmer area because this one is a little bit more cold sensitive. So this one can't go below 24 degrees. So really 9A above on this one zone, whereas the other ones I showed you today, you could get away with in 8B. And the last one I'm going to show you is the Buddha belly bamboo. This one was planted in July 2017, at the same time that I planted out the old hamai that I showed at the beginning of this video. This one's not going to be as large as the old hamai, so this tops out around 25 to 30 feet tall. The culm size is about 2 inches on this one. And again, planted this one here just for the filtered light that it will provide for the plumeria I've got growing nearby. And you can see this is very close to my house. But the spread on this is going to max out at about 4 feet. It's not going to go that far. What's nice about clumping bamboo is if it does exceed the footprint that you want for it, you can just clip off those canes that you don't want and shape it. It is recommended every year to go through and clean up the canes on your bamboo, so it's just an annual pruning process. Come through, take out the old canes. Gives room for the new ones to grow in. And on feeding in general, I tend to feed twice a year, in spring and summer. That's really the only 2 seasons where you'll see a lot of growth happening. The bamboo don't do a whole lot in fall and winter. So at those times of the year, I will actually dump just an entire 2 cubic foot bag of deodorized manure right on the topsoil, and then I'll add mulch on top. If you don't like using deodorized manure, you can use an NPK of 2156, similar to what lawns need. As bamboo is the type of grass, it does really well on lawn fertilizer. It needs really high levels of nitrogen. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this bamboo tour. It's a wonderful plant to add to your yard. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening.